Hello and welcome to the Shift Into You podcast. I'm Taryn, your EFT boss, bold cheerleader, and spiritual BFF. I'm all about the woo, but not about the weird. We're going to be talking about all things personal and spiritual development in relation to business. So step into your bold, tap into your success, and let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Shift Into You podcast. I am going to tell you all about my social anxiety and how I shifted it in a matter of hours. Crazy. And it really was crazy for me too. Like, I'm sitting here having this conversation with you and feeling like, how the fuck is this even real? So I don't know when my social anxiety started. I'm going to go ahead and assume it happened back in school. In my younger years in school, I was bullied and it was not fun, but it was the experience that I had and that was it. And then in my later years in school, like year 9 and year 10, I was in a different school in a different state, mind you. I moved from Tasmania to New South Wales when I was 14 or 15. So the last 2 years of high school, I spent in a different school. And in that school, I was like, oh, I could be a whole new person. No one knows who I am. No one knows my past. No one knows my family. No one knows anything about me. Like, I can be who I want to be, right? Oh, Lady Gaga vibes. So I really acted out and I was really desperate to be seen and be known and, stand in my own merit, I suppose. And when I look back at it, like, I know that I was acting and I know that I was faking it. Like, they know that fake it till you make it. That was definitely where I was at. But I desperately wanted to be seen. I desperately wanted to be heard. I desperately wanted to be noticed. And I wanted to be who I wanted to be and not who I felt like I was supposed to be. Like, no one knew me. No one had any expectations of me. No one had any, like, I didn't need to follow in anyone's footsteps. I could be whoever I wanted to be. And that was really cool. And so I was like definitely acting out and I was getting into trouble and talking in class. And like, while it's not a big deal, like I thought I was really cool and I felt like other people thought that I was really cool as well, because, I think I was like a bit of a novelty as well, like coming from Tassie and coming from a co-ed school. And then going to an all girls school, like all of the girls were like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. She knows boys. Like, that was definitely the experience that I had. And, I wasn't afraid to interact with the male population. And so I was definitely like cool at school because I would talk to boys for the girls because, they were too afraid to do it for themselves because they'd not experienced life in coexistence with the opposite sex, which is really bizarre to me. It was so bizarre to me. And it was really difficult for me to fit in as well because I am not a girly girl. I like motorbikes. I like dirt. I like fishing and camping and all of that kind of stuff. Like, that was definitely the life that I had growing up. And then moving to Sydney, I was like, how the fuck do I be female? So that was like a whole thing in itself. But yeah, so I don't know if those earlier years in being bullied and then trying to kind of redefine who I am is what kind of created that anxiety, that disconnection between like who I am and who I wanted to be and all of that kind of stuff. Or if the anxiety kind of came around the time that my best friend died, which she passed away a couple of months before our 21st birthday. And I say our 21st birthday because we were born only a few days apart. And so when she passed away, I really went on a healing journey because I was experiencing a lot of deep grief and depression anxiety as well. I was also drinking a lot and just going out all the time, and I kind of went off the rails, to be completely honest. And I knew that something had to change, and I had to really go inward and go on a bit of a healing journey to heal my depression and grief more than anything. But that's when my social anxiety, I became aware of it, I suppose. Like I all of a sudden had this awareness around the fact that I was uncomfortable in social situations. And so it's knowingly affected me for the last 10, 11 years. So it's been a lot. So that's when I first started my healing journey. When I first went on my spiritual journey, I discovered Reiki around that period of time. I became a Reiki practitioner as well, not long after that. And I was really into crystals and meditation and clearing and cleansing and all of that kind of stuff. If you've listened to episode 1, I mentioned that, I've had an on and off relationship with meditation. It was around this period of time as well that I discovered meditation, was practicing meditation. I was very much in that spiritual space, becoming a Reiki practitioner as well. I then had a business where I would provide Reiki services for people. And all this different kind of stuff was just, happening. And so I developed this awareness of my social anxiety, and it's knowingly affected my ability to live for the last 10 years. And that sounds quite dramatic, and it's not that dramatic, but it's really affected my ability to create deep connections with people. It's affected my ability to have friends. It's affected my ability to make friends. And I really struggled a lot in my husband having friends. My husband's quite a social person. And my social anxiety has left me feeling or being seen as rude, inconsiderate, abrupt, blunt, unkind, disrespectful. And it's not that I am those things, but I have a social limit or a social battery. And when that's empty, I actually just shut down, and I don't actually have the energy or the ability to think clearly. I don't have the ability to articulate things in a way that's not really straightforward. I mean, I have a really straightforward personality anyway. I'm very to the point. I don't really beat around the bush. I have no desire to waste people's time trying to explain things. I just say what I want. I say what I need. And a lot of people don't like that about me, but it is a part of who I am. And I'm perfectly comfortable with that. But when my social battery is like at 0, I just completely shut down. And then it's kind of like, okay, I'm leaving now, bye. And I will just leave. I just leave, and everyone's like, oh, she's really rude for doing that. Like, I'm never nasty. I'm never nasty to people. But I'm direct. And for a long time, it was really hard for me. Like, I would try and pretend to be something that I wasn't, to support, well, not to support my husband, but like we would go out with his friends and that kind of thing when we first got together, because I didn't have any friends. This is a new thing for me, to have friendships, to have relationships in my life. I didn't have any friends. And so when we would go out for dinner with his friends, or his friends would come over to our house, like I would just shut down at a certain point, and I'd be like, okay, I'm leaving now, bye. And for a long time, I think that this could be a story that I'm telling myself as well, but for a long time, I felt like his friends didn't like me because of how I am the way that I am. And I used to try really hard to not be that person. And then I would just end up so depleted and drained and worn out and upset and everything for days afterwards, because I was desperately trying to recover my energy stores, because I'd be so depleted after a few hours. And so then I was like, okay, well, obviously I just need to communicate what it is that I need. But when my social battery would get to zero, I wouldn't actually have the capacity to communicate that. And so it would come out with, I'm leaving now, bye, or I'm going to bed, see you later, let yourself out. It was just, oh, it's been a journey, I tell you. And coming into being a mum, it's really affected my ability to socialize my children. So I don't really take my kids to parks. I never joined a mums group or anything like that, because I was really afraid of interacting with people and really afraid of judgment. And I don't know. When I think about it now, I don't even know, because I've cleared the anxiety. I've cleared whatever emotional charge was holding me in that space. I've cleared it. And so now it's actually kind of difficult for me to recall what it is that I was so fearful of when it came, like, or maybe it was more a fear of not being accepted because I'm different. And it's true, like, I'm different and I own that and I love it. I love that about myself, but it's almost made me feel unwelcome at times. And so I guess I've just not wanted to put myself in situations where I could potentially be rejected. And I mean, isn't that a fear of everyone? Doesn't everyone have that fear of being rejected or not accepted or not liked? And I'm a likable person. I make friends really quite easily. Well, people like me, people are attracted to me, people, I have no problem building relationships with my clients and colleagues and that kind of stuff. I've been told that I'm very easy to fall in love with and I'm magnetic, and I am. But then my social battery runs out and I just shut down, right? And it's not cool. It's not fair on the people around me for them to feel like I don't like them when it's not the truth. And that's a big part that's been of my social anxiety. Well, if I just don't put myself out there, then I don't have to be rude. And I don't have to make people feel like I don't like them when it's not the truth. It's just, I don't know how to communicate. I don't know how to articulate my needs when I'm in that state. So I've been seen as rude. I've been seen as unapproachable, and it's not been cool. But I am going to say that social anxiety has had its benefits, which is quite possibly why I've held on to it for so long and why I've identified with it for so long. Like, I'm very good at setting boundaries and communicating my boundaries. I'm very good at asking for what I need. I'm very good at saying no to things that don't light me up, don't fill me with joy. It's enabled me to stay at home and blame it on my social anxiety, because I'm an introvert. I truly am an introvert. And I don't have a desire to go out and socialize a lot. But having anxiety has definitely given me an out where I've been like, oh no, my social anxiety, I'm not going to do that. And it was just accepted. So it gave me the ability to stay at home, which, I love that. And I'm home right now, right? I've created a home that I just love. And I get social anxiety from my kids sometimes. I'm like, ooh, just give me some space. I'm running out of steam. But the thing that's been the hardest for me with social anxiety is not being able to make friends. That sucks. Like, when I think about when I met my husband, like, I literally had no friends. When I was with my ex, I had no friends. All the people in my life have always been people who are friends with other people. Like, they've never really had my own friends. And when I have had my own friends, I've let those friendships fall apart because of my own insecurities. And that sucks. Fuck, that sucks. But like, two of my best friends now, I have two best friends. They're fucking incredible. And I don't see them. I can make incredible friendships online. Incredible friendships online. So one of my best friends, we've been really besties for probably the last 3 years. And we'd known each other for 2 or 3 years prior to that as well. Um, and I see her probably once or twice a year, generally speaking. So she lives 3 hours from me, but the property that we own is about 45-minute drive from her house. So from time to time, when I'm down at the property, she will either come to see me, or I will drive the extra 45 minutes and go and see her. But that doesn't happen very often. She's busy, I'm busy, life's busy, but we talk all day, every day. And then my other best friend, I've been friends with for 2 years, and I've not met her in person yet. And, part of that is my social anxiety. Part of that is the fact that she lives 2 hours away. But how beautiful is the internet that we are able to create friendships and create connections without, without that distance barrier. It's so beautiful, and it's so impactful, and it's so powerful. And I think that has also contributed to my social anxiety, if I'm completely honest, because why would I go out and make new friends in real life when I can make friends online? And stay at home and be in my Udi and be comfortable and warm and cozy and hang out with my friends and hang out with my husband, hang out with my children and hang out with my husband and, the people that I've chosen to be in my life forever. And, why would I want to go out? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So that's the introvert in me. Okay. Another thing is I really don't enjoy small talk. And I find that when we go out in public or to social situations, like talking about the weather and talking about work and gossip, and that just doesn't light my fire. It depletes me really quickly. But if you want to talk about our soul's purpose, and if you want to talk about why we're here on earth, and if you want to talk about business and strategy and mindset and limiting beliefs and healing and all of that deep stuff, I'm here for those conversations. I'm 100% here for those conversations. But, when you're just meeting someone or, you're out in public, you're not having those conversations. You're not having those conversations at the pub, generally speaking. So I've found it difficult to make friends because I really feel like friendships are built on the basis of being able to have small talk in the beginning. And I can't have small talk. And that's why I struggle so much, truly. So back on the topic of my husband's friends, like I am so grateful to them. So his best friend and his best friend's fiance, we spend so much time with them, and I am just so grateful to them that they never rejected me because I was not kind, or not that I wasn't kind. Like I need to stop telling myself that story because it's bullshit. From the get-go, Chris was able to articulate to them that Taryn struggles in social situations, and if she shuts down, it's not about you and it's about her. And I am so grateful to them that they've stuck by me. They still want to hang out with me, and they just accept me for who I am. And when I say, okay, guys, thanks so much for coming, but I'm going to go to bed now because I'm really drained and not feeling it, they just accept it. And they don't judge me for it, and they don't make me feel like shit about it, and they respect me. And it fills my heart so much because I've spent my entire life wanting to be accepted and not knowing how to be accepted and not knowing how to be anything other than what I am. And having them in my life has really, it's what spurred me on this journey to heal my social anxiety, because I want to be better friends with them. Not that I'm not good friends with them. Like I would definitely consider these two people, without naming names, like I would definitely consider these two people to be our closest friends. And I feel that too, even though they were my husband's friends first, like whatever. But this is what encouraged me to want to go on this healing journey to heal my social anxiety, because of the grace that they've given me. I want to be able to give that in return. I want to be able to go out with them and actually enjoy myself and not get to a point in my night where I'm like, I need to go home, bye, and just leave. Like I want to do things with them that don't stress me out. I don't want to feel the way that I feel when I'm in public. I don't want to feel that way. And I want to be friends, and I want to laugh, and I want to have a couple of drinks. Oh my God, I stopped drinking for 10 years because I always need to have an escape route. I always need to be able to leave and get home. I always need to know where the exit is. I always need to position myself somewhere near the exit. So if I need to cut and run, I can do it. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why for so long I've not felt safe in social situations that I'm like, well, I can't drink. I'll be the designated driver because it means that I can leave whenever I want, or more so I can leave whenever I need to, because I never want to leave. I always want to enjoy myself, and I've just never been able to. But I wanted to change that because I want to create better connections. I want to create better relationships with the people that I have in my life who have been so accepting and so understanding of me, that I want to give them that in return. I want to get to know who they are. I want to do things that I enjoy with them. And as social anxiety is just going to keep holding me back. It holds me back in my business too. It's held me back from having retreats and events. And I know that in the last 2 years with COVID and that kind of thing, I haven't been able to do that. But, you know, once upon a time, I had a business retreat, and it was the best 3 days I have ever had. And I was so depleted throughout it. And I had to act my way through it. And I had to force myself to do things. And I was so grateful to myself that I scheduled time out throughout the event where I was like, okay, now everyone can go off and do their own thing for a couple of hours. And that really enabled me the space to breathe and do what I needed to do to recharge before coming back into that next session or whatever it was. So while the retreat was incredible and I did definitely enjoy myself, I want to enjoy myself more, right? And events and retreats are such a huge part of the vision for my business. And I'm going to talk about this in another podcast, but these events and retreats are so important to me as a part of the vision for my business that if I don't heal my social anxiety, I'm never going to be able to fulfill that dream. I'm never going to be able to fulfill that vision. And I want to. So it's held me back in my business, not being able to host events, not being able to host retreats. Like, even if COVID wasn't a thing, I still wouldn't have been able to do it because I feel that I deserve better for myself, in a sense of like, I deserve to feel good throughout these experiences, because if I'm feeling like shit throughout them, I'm not going to show up as my best self and that kind of thing. So it's had a real impact on my life. But I want to talk about how I've cleared social anxiety in a few hours, which blows my mind. Like, I've knowingly experienced social anxiety for 10 years, 11 years. I've been aware of my social anxiety, potentially existed prior to that, but that was when my awareness happened. And I was able to shift it in a matter of hours. And by a matter of hours, I mean 20-minute blocks over about 2 weeks. Mind-blowing that I have been able to release something that has been such an ingrained part of who I am, something I identified with. For 11 years, I was able to shift it in a few hours through emotional freedom technique, through EFT. And this is exactly why I have decided to become an EFT practitioner, because it has changed my fucking life. So by tapping on different points within the body, so top of the head, top of the eyebrows, temples, under the eye, under the nose, under the lip, collarbones, and on the bra strap, like under your arm, like under your armpit, and then on your wrist. And there are different points on your hands as well. And there's different sequences that you can work through. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing right now. But this practice and talking myself through what I'm experiencing and what I want to experience as an alternative, and, you know, going through these scripts and stuff like that. Like, I have been able to shift my social anxiety, and not only shift my social anxiety, like I've changed so much of my life. This is how I've integrated my new identity, which I spoke about on episode 1. This is how I have become a better parent. This is how I've become a better wife. This is how I have bought my sex drive back. I still don't have any time to have any sex, but I have the desire now, you know, since becoming a mom. I'm like, I'm busy, I'm tired, I've got a headache, I don't want to do it, like whatever. And now I'm like, yeah, I do. I want to do it. But, you know, I still don't have time because I've got 2 children. You know, so it's just so much about my life has changed and improved since integrating EFT, but I was able to shift these ingrained beliefs and this ingrained anxiety that was trapped within my body for so long. And I was able to shift it really within a couple of hours. Like, that's fucking epic. And so every day I would tap on these points of my body and I would repeat this script over and over and over again. And eventually it cleared. And it was really interesting. A really interesting thing happened was we had friends invite us to come and stay with them for the weekend, which every single day for the week leading up to going, I said to my husband, oh, maybe we should just cancel. Maybe we should reschedule. I hope one of us gets sick so that we don't have to go. I was really not in a good place. And I believed that my social anxiety was creating this, but I'd already cleared it, which was really interesting. So I'd already cleared the feeling within my body, but my mind or my ego was still telling me this story that I was not going to enjoy myself. So I kept working on that. I kept clearing that. I kept doing the work. And that's the thing. You don't just do the work once. Like, it's an ongoing thing always. But these little thoughts will creep back in and you're like, no, okay, I've got to clear that. I've got to work with that. Okay, that's something that I'm still feeling some resistance around. Anyway, we went away for the weekend. The entire weekend, my husband asked me, are you okay? What can I do for you? Do you need some time out? You know, how are you feeling? And he was so supportive, so beautiful. And every single time I said to him, no, babe, I'm fine, I fucking meant it. I meant it. I was fine. I was in this experience and I was fine. And for the first time, I'm going to cry. For the first time in my life, I felt so fucking free. And I was so afraid of going and then those people not liking me or thinking that I didn't like them. And I felt so free of this weight that had been pressing on me for so long. And it was really fucking cool. Anyway, I kept doing the work, and I did it because I wanted to have friends and because I wanted to be in a relationship where we did things with other couples. And that was just really cool. So my social anxiety ruined my life for 10 years. And now I know what I was missing out on. And in that process of rediscovering who I was, integrating a new identity and shifting my social anxiety, I also discovered a tool that can help people change their fucking lives. If it only boosts your confidence, if it only gives you the courage to start a business or share a post on your social media, if it only gives you the courage to tell someone how you feel or to create a boundary for yourself, then it has done its job. when I realized the power of the work that I was doing for myself, I had to learn how to do it for others. And so I was already a Reiki practitioner. That's been a thing for 10 years now. But when I discovered EFT, I knew that it was something I had to learn how to facilitate for people. And I am so excited to be certifying now this week at the time of recording this episode as an EFT and TFT practitioner. So emotional freedom technique and thought field therapy. I am primarily going to be using EFT because that is what has changed my life. TFT is just a part of the particular course that I've worked through to certify. But EFT is the primary modality I'm going to be using going forward because of how much it has changed my life and how valuable I can see that it's going to be in other people's lives, especially in business. Clearing those limiting beliefs and fears and procrastination and shit that keeps you stuck, feeling like you're not good enough, not smart enough, not confident enough. You're going to be judged or questioned or rejected or fail, or maybe you're afraid of success, and all of these different things that hold us back and keep us small and keep us safe in our lives, in our businesses. You get to let it all go because you are safe. And I know that now. I'm safe. And we don't live like fear is a prehistoric thing that's in our bodies that doesn't actually need to exist in this day and age, especially when it like fear is designed to keep us safe, designed to stop us from being eaten by a hippopotamus. Hippos? Do hippos eat humans? Yeah, it's hippos. They kill like heaps of humans every year. Like that fear response, that flight, fight, or freeze response is actually such a dated response, but it's part of our human experience. But in this day and age, we don't need to experience fear because it's very rare that our safety is being threatened. So while we might have this fear come up around showing up on camera, this fear of judgment or whatever, the question that you really need to be asking yourself is this going to kill me or hurt me physically? The answer is 99% of the time when a fear comes up, the answer is no. It is not going to hurt me and it's not going to kill me. So therefore, you can move forward knowing that you're safe. But it feels hard because you've got this experience, like this feeling in your body that's stopping you, it's preventing you, it's holding you back. And you don't need to feel that. You don't need to experience that anymore. You actually get to be whoever the fuck you want to be. You actually get to do whatever the fuck you want to do. And you get to be celebrated for it. And you get to do that through EFT. And that's why I decided to train in this so that I can facilitate it for other people. And so inside the Bold Collective, every single fortnight, I'm going to be doing tapping sessions for my clients to support them through whatever it is that they're going through. And then they can revisit that session for the 2 weeks for, in between. They can do that session daily or however much they need to do it to support them in clearing whatever it is that's keeping them feeling stuck. I'm going to do another episode that is specifically on EFT, but that's inside the Bold Collective, which is my ongoing membership. And what's actually going to happen over time is I'm going to be building up a really huge library of EFT sessions so that you can kind of tap in or literally tap in anytime you want into whatever area. So it's like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit like nervous about going on camera or doing a live or doing an interview on a podcast or something like that. So you can then go and find a tapping session that is specifically on confidence around being interviewed or confidence around showing up on camera or something like that. And you can work through that tapping session that's going to support you then in showing up in the way that you need to show up in your business, showing up in the way that you need to show up in your life. So this conversation has kind of gone in different directions, but at the end of the day, I wanted to let you know that I healed my social anxiety in a matter of hours, and it has changed my fucking life. So if you have things going on in your world that have been holding you back from being the truest expression of yourself, I would encourage you to send me a message and ask about EFT. I'm not going to sell it to you. If you just want to know, if you just have questions, I want to have that conversation with you. So feel free to reach out to me. If you jump into my Facebook group, which is the Shift Into You community for this podcast, I have a lot of conversations in there about EFT, about healing, about the spiritual journey, about anxiety, all of the things. I talk about everything in there, not just business. It's really more focused probably on the personal and spiritual development side of things in relation to business. It's a really cool group and it's growing, and I'm really proud of it. So if you want to come and hang out with me there, you're more than welcome. I will leave the link in the description, or you can always come and have a chat to me on Instagram. I love hanging out over there as well and getting to know you all better. So thank you so much for tuning into my episode about social anxiety. And I hope that you've been able to relate in some way, and we'll use this as inspiration to support you on your own journey. Bye.